Hey there, welcome to day 14 of our free 30-day Get Up and Go challenge to figure out how to automatically make dealing with changes and challenges for you as easy as breathing, right? As easy as breathing. So we're using the SOAP framework to do that. Today we're talking about the P in our physical well-being. We're going through the SOAP framework one day at a time, at least 3 times, so that you can get a feel for, how do I apply this? How could I use this in my own life? What tools could I use to figure out my story, my options, my action, and my progress? P stands for progress. The first question for you today is, did you do your action item yesterday? It's going to be important because we're going to ask ourselves questions about that today. So, did you do it? I did mine. I went for a walk and I listened to a book about different exercises. And I also did different exercises as I was going about the house yesterday. I didn't figure out an exact exercise program, but I'll work on that. But I gotta admit, I felt a little better about it. I did some stretching. I did some leg lifts. I did some deep knee bends. I didn't do any burpees. You'll never catch me doing burpees. Not ever again. I did a program after my sudden cardiac arrest where I did some burpees and realized that burpees are not a good idea for me. Number 1, they hurt. Number 2, they get my heart rate way too high, and that triggers my ICD, which is never a good thing. Very embarrassing. So, what are we going to talk about with respect to progress? What does progress mean? Progress means, to me, I'm moving toward what I want. If I'm moving toward what I want, I feel I'm making progress. It doesn't have to be giant steps. If I'm moving in the direction of what I want, I personally consider that progress. If I'm not making progress, I'm moving in the opposite direction. I'm not moving toward what I want. It's a really easy definition, and it makes it easy and fun and exciting to make progress. Because guess what? As human beings, we always want to feel motion and movement and progress as if we're going toward what we want. So why not set that up in our life so that we're achieving it on a regular basis? Well, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to teach you a tool today, one of my very favorite tools. I think it was 1987 when I went to a training. I was working at Procter & Gamble as a team manager for a toilet paper manufacturing team. That was my first job out of college. That's how I started my career, making toilet paper. So there's lots of jokes about it. I've heard every joke about toilet paper that you can ever imagine. I worked there about 5 years, and believe me, my friends were all over telling me jokes that have anything to do with poop and pee and toilet paper and you name it. So at P&G, I was fortunate enough. P&G, Procter & Gamble, has one of the best development and training programs for the employees of any company I've ever heard. I'm sure there's better now, but back then, it was back in the 80s, when I started with them in 85, that's one of the reasons I went to work for them, because I knew that my college education was just the tip of the iceberg. It was just the beginning of what I needed to learn to be successful in the world. So I signed up for different trainings and opportunities that we had. And one of the best, one of the ones that everybody wanted to go to, was called Louis Tice training. I don't even know if it exists anymore. I was going to Google it yesterday and I didn't, because I'm sure that it was one of the early personal development training things that was sold to corporations, and there's been hundreds of thousands, or thousands for sure, tens of thousands since. But for me, it was my first taste of understanding myself better and learning and personal development. And during that training, we did something called the Lifeline Exercise, and that's the one I'm going to share with you today, because it helps us to know if we're making progress or not in the area or aspect of our life that we're looking for. And what I do, I'm going to share mine with you, and this is just an example. I love my lovely high-tech visual aids, right? But this is what I actually do. And I don't want to share a fancy computer-generated thing with you, because then you feel like you have to do that. But you don't. You grab a piece of cardboard and it's got multi-uses, right? It's our areas and aspects of our life. It's actually a decision-making process I'm going to teach you this month. And then on the back side is a Lifeline exercise. Why? Because I tried to do it on a piece of paper and it was too hard. Because my life, I'm pretty old now, and my life has had a lot of things that have gone on during it. So what do we do? How do you do a Lifeline exercise? You take a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard or a cardboard box, whatever works for you, and you put the year that you were born. Yes, I was born in 1960. So you put the year you were born, and then I like to put all the way down on the other end with an arrow continuing, because I plan on being here a while longer. the year that we're at, which is 2021, and then an arrow continuing. And it doesn't matter. You're going to add to it and change it over time. This is one of those exercises that you can use and pull out of your toolbox whenever you want to take a look at your life and things in your life and say, is my life actually going in the direction I want it to, or do I just think it is? Remember, everything we do is an up and down. Sometimes we're going uphill, sometimes we're going downhill. Sometimes things are hard, sometimes things are easy. And our life is no different. It ebbs and flows. We have all kinds of different experiences. So what I like to do for my physical well-being, and this has got, what I did is I just put a bunch of events on my Lifeline. As I remember big things that impacted me in my life, I just put them on my Lifeline. And then what I do, and I didn't do it on this yet, is I graph physical, mentally, and each of the different areas. But I graph, okay, physically, how did that thing impact me? Was it high? And high is good for me and means I'm doing really well with my health and physical well-being. So for example, in 2010, when I had a sudden cardiac arrest and died, I would actually put that one below the line. Not many things go below the line for me, but I think dead isn't on the line, it's below the line. And then other health challenges and events I had. In my 20s, I was bedridden with chronic pain for a few years, so that's pretty low too. It's not dead, it's not below the line, but it's pretty low. So how does this help me? It helps me in that my health's a heck of a lot better now than it was in my 20s and than it was in 2010 for sure. And I would admit I've had some slippage in 2020 and even into 2021 with respect to certain areas and aspects of my physical being and my physical health and my physical environment. But we look at this because it gives us a snapshot or a pictorial look at what direction our life is going. And it's super duper fun to do. It's fun to go back and remember all the things, number one, that you've actually survived and lived through that you probably didn't think you would at the time. Or big dramas and romances. We'll do it for each of the areas and aspects of our life, but you can use the Lifeline to do it in any area aspect of your life. We're only going to talk about it this time, but you can use it for any of those areas or aspects if you want to take a look at them. And what I like to do, I said, is I like to, this is my perfect for me line for any given area. I like to do in different colors the different areas and aspects of my life. And I remember, and I usually date it because it's just a snapshot of how I'm feeling about these areas and aspects of my life the day that I do the actual Lifeline exercise. So, questions about that, hit me up in the comments below. Your action item today is to do this. Just draw out a quick Lifeline. I've done a lot of them. I've just done quick and dirty ones. This is one from October's challenge last year, and just I had perfect health on the top. I can't even read it. And that top line would be, my ideal, my fantasy of perfect health in all areas and aspects of my life. And then I just graphed where was I different times and where do I feel like I'm going now. So I can see if I'm moving toward what I want, making progress or not. So share in the comments below what direction yesterday's action took you. It's going to be one of four things. It's going to be, it took you up, meaning toward the thing that you want, down, move you away from what you want, and then you've learned, hey, what not to do, neutral, or it hasn't been enough time. Chances are if you did one thing one day, it hasn't been enough time to make a decision yet. You just have to decide whether I'm going to continue to do it or not. And we'll talk about that and how to do that later on and how to make those things automatic in the challenge as well. Questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. This is our challenge today. Go have fun with this Lifeline exercise. Any questions, ask. Otherwise, just do this and see how much you get out of it and see how it makes you feel to do the Lifeline exercise. All right, have a great day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.